Just giving a little bit of an update today. We picked up a secondhand blast cabinet for $50. Needed gloves, needed glass. Built a wooden cart, roll around on. Printed a dust collector I stole off Thingiverse. Got the glass in. Got to get some hardware to remount the rings for the gloves. Ditched the fluorescent light and installed these LEDs that I think I picked up at Bargain Hunt for maybe $5 each. But this one is mounted on a magnet, so it can be moved around. I'm gonna mainly do soda blasting. Been doing some research on how to improve these Harbor Freight cabinets, and so I went through and sealed the seams like everybody recommended you do. Try to help with shadows in the box. Put some aluminum tape on that front side. Not sure if it'll help. Not sure if it'll hurt either though. Something else we've been working on is a kind of a cold air intake for the 86 F-150. So we designed this clamshell that will go around the 14x3 air filter. We had to segment the pieces up so it would fit in the printer we're currently using, which is Ender 3 Pro that we borrowed from a buddy. So around the size constraints of that print bed is how we come up with this design. We're currently printing it. Excuse the hillbilly heat enclosure. It's kind of a test to see if it would help, and it does help to keep the prints from warping up. Probably can't tell, but I ran out of filament. Kind of, I guess, a third of the way through the print. So this is about the only way we can get to fit in that print bed. Just one piece standing on its end. Hopefully we get my Ziltech back going next few days so we can start printing these pieces more than one at a time. For the truck, we picked up some of these pieces from the salvage yard off of some different year F-150s. We got some tube, got some pieces that go through the core support. So hopefully we make that work. First piece had finished printing. I forgot to adjust the retraction settings between the Ziltech and the Ender, so we got some stringing. But all in all, printing at what, 200 millimeters a second, it did a pretty good job. So again, very impressed with that printer at the speed that it can print. See how well the supports come off. Wah, 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 wah. It's trying to speed up the print, so I printed it at 10% infill. And obviously it's a little bit weak. I broke that piece. Trying to get the support loose. Struggle with, since I've started printing, was making my supports come loose. And this is no different. So we are learning some things. Need to probably revisit my design, because that's pretty thin. Again, I also printed it with pretty light infill just to get a full-size part to see what needed to be reworked. I also need to work on making my supports a little bit thinner, because it's kind of ironic my supports are stronger than my part I just printed. So it finally got to come loose. So first glimpse of what the part's going to look like. I think it's going to, other than this part being too thin, looks like it's going to work pretty well. So at first glance, it looks like it's going to be okay. We'll have the openings on the right and left. All right, so what we decided to do to increase the thickness on the part where it broke, right here, because it is pretty thin, probably barely over a millimeter thick, or for us in America, about a 1/16 of an inch thick. I decided I'm just going to increase the thickness of that flange past this point. So I'm just going to double the thickness and have it, extend out past it, and I'll just kind of do a fillet or chamfer into the rest of the model. So now I've got the model updated with the little bands. Evan decided to call those the worm neck bands, so anybody ever seen an earthworm, you know what he's talking about. So that'll give a little bit of thickness there so it doesn't break again at that small seam. I think it turned out pretty well. So we were looking at the truck and we seen the distributor and the firewall were going to cause clearance problems. So we edited out a notch in the part to get clearance for that. So I guess we're going to start trying to print to see what we can get. That's the next day. Had a failed print on the ender overnight. I tried to run it too fast. Have the Ziltech back running. Been fighting plug nozzles today, so hopefully I got that sorted out. Got the electrical done on our blast cabinet. Been using it today. So first switch does the primary light. Second switch does this receptacle, which is shot back secondary light. So we blasted a few things in the cabinet. I'm so very, very surprised how just baking soda cleans up a greasy, corroded hub. Thanks for watching.